Happy Monday. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you are enjoying today, even if it's a moment and a time to just reflect, think about things, kind of regroup and reset your week if you haven't started working already. But just, take a moment and pause and kind of give yourself the ability to regroup after last week. It's always good to take that time to reset from one week to another. So, happy Monday. Um, let's continue in 2025, just continuing our year. I think that that's really important. We are still in the first month of 2025. Kind of starting this year out thinking about, what goals am I wanting to do? As it's the beginning of the year, we have resolutions a lot of times that people make, but a lot of times there's several reasons why individuals don't accomplish those resolutions. One is because of unrealistic expectations. Also, as well, sometimes the goals that we have, we don't put how we're going to accomplish them. With every goal that you have, ask yourself, what things have I put in place? What steps, right, that I need to take to reach that goal? A common goal that people have in 2020, the beginning of every year, not just 2025. One is, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, if I want to lose weight, what does that look like? And how am I going to accomplish that goal of wanting to lose weight? If I want to lose weight, what does that look like? Am I going to diet? Am I going to go to the gym? Like, those are things when you set goals that need to be put in place while you're setting that goal. What does that look like? How am I going to set and accomplish that goal? Because the truth of the matter is, if I don't have those things in place, it's going to be hard to accomplish the goal. Because it's something I want to do, but there's no steps on how to accomplish that goal. And some goals are long-term goals. So if it's a long-term goal, then I should have short-term goals that will eventually cause me to reach that long-term goal. So as I'm talking, think about, what goals am I wanting to accomplish? And how will I accomplish that goal? The Bible does talk about write the vision and make it plain. So sometimes the goals that we have not accomplished them because we did not write them down and make those visions, make that vision, that goal plain. So ask yourself, have I wrote down the vision? Have I wrote it down? Like, how I'm going to accomplish it, what I'm going to do. Sometimes that's why we don't accomplish it, is because we simply just didn't write it down. Write down your goals. Write down your dreams. Write down things that even it may just be a fleeting thought. Sometimes the fleeting thought is what we need to work on for that year. Some goals are not goals that, are not going to challenge us. I would like to also just encourage you as well. Don't shy away from a goal, even if it's something that challenges you. Because sometimes the goals that challenge us, that's going to make us better. Working out is one, since I've already talked about it. Working out is a goal that is hard. But if we stay focused on the goal, it is definitely something that we can achieve. I will say this for myself. When I was 221 pounds, I had to set goals on how to lose the weight. No, the weight did not come off easy. It took me 6 months before I really began to start seeing the changes in my weight. However, I had to stay consistent. With every goal that you set, you must stay consistent. Every goal, on how you're going to accomplish it. Because if I don't stay consistent with how I will accomplish the goal is probably not going to be accomplished. So that's one thing. Consistency, determination. I must be determined. For myself, I had to be determined in order to lose the weight. With every goal that you set, you must be determined. There may be obstacles, there may be challenges, There may even be setbacks. But I still have to be determined to accomplish the goal. No goal is going to be met without adversity. So remember that. Today is MLK Day. I have a dream. He had a dream, but there were some obstacles. Even when he was delivering that speech, there were some obstacles. Think about that just for a moment. Any dream that you have, because it has to first be a dream before it can be a goal, right? And putting that thing into place, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be pain. Every transition that you go through in life, there's always pain and there's always change. With every transition that you experience, there will always be pain. So remember that. Ask yourself when you're setting your goals and when you're in the process of accomplishing the goals, am I ready to endure the pain that comes with this? Am I ready to endure the change that comes with this? Am I ready to endure the difficulty that can come with this? Because with everything that you experience, with goals, with life, with change, there will always be some sort of pain. Even being uncomfortable can produce some pain. Being frustrated can produce some pain. Change produces change. So remember that. Every time you're setting a goal in your life, change is inevitable. And honestly, change is inevitable whether you accomplish a goal or not, because life is going to always have some type of change. Do I want to change just because of lifing? Or do I want to change because of the goals that I put in place and how I'm accomplishing those goals, which is producing the change? So remember that. Right now, we're experiencing so many transitions. We're in the midst of a presidential transition if you're in America. We're in the midst of transitions. California, people that lost their homes, they're experiencing transition. The weather consistently is changing. Those are all transitions. Just like with goals, we experience transitions. So I just encourage you today, start goal setting. Don't be afraid to set them goals, but be realistic about them, right? If I'm going to lose weight, right, how many days am I willing to work out? How many days am I willing to change my diet? Because it's not enough just to go to the gym and work out and I don't change my diet. Losing weight is more about changing your diet than it is working out. Yes, you do need to incorporate some cardio to it, some weightlifting to it. However, we must also change our diet. And I can even apply that to any goal. Setting goals require diet changes. It doesn't necessarily mean, it might not be my palate in terms of my food or what I'm tasting. It might be my mind. I have to change my mind, right? So with every goal that I'm setting, am I willing to change what I'm eating, what I'm watching, what I'm hearing? Because with every goal, I must be willing to transform those things. I might even need to transform my language. Because like I talked about, I'm going to go back a little bit here. When I talked about the pain, what am I speaking? Even though I might not see the goal yet progressing, I might not see myself progressing in the goal, but what am I speaking as I'm accomplishing that goal? Am I speaking that I can't do this? Am I speaking that this is never going to happen? Or am I speaking that I shall and I will accomplish the goal? Because life and death lies in the power of the tongue. Even in therapy world, right? We talk about what we speak using positive affirmations instead of negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is, I can't do this. This will never happen. Because when I speak those things, I become those things. So remember that as you're setting goals, remember, what am I speaking? Am I speaking life, that I shall and I will accomplish this? Or am I speaking death, that this is never going to happen? Because if I'm continuing to speak death, how do I expect to accomplish that goal, right? like they talk about. It's in what I speak. So speak what you want to achieve. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult. And it also doesn't mean just because I speak positive things that there's going to be no challenges. Life always has challenges. And I'll also tell you, even when you're doing something new, there's even more challenges that oftentimes present themselves. But that goes back to asking myself those questions. Am I ready to embark this change? Am I ready to continue despite the obstacles, the challenges, and the hardships that may present themselves? Am I ready for this goal that I've set? Ask yourself when you're writing down your goals. Am I ready for this? Am I ready for what's going to come with this? Am I ready for things that may come because of this? Because if I say yes, there's going to be some of those things that will present themselves as I'm working on changing for that goal. Change always produces change. But change also produces sometimes apprehension, sometimes nervousness, sometimes fear, sometimes hard work, sometimes difficulty, sometimes, it's just like, did I make the right decision, which is apprehension. But if we never step out in the uncomfortable, we'll never be pushed to our greatest potential. We'll never be challenged. Without the challenges, without the goals that we set, which present new challenges, we'll never know what we can really do. One thing that I'll say is during moments of transition, during times of transition, you're being stretched. And in any stretching, it's building your capacity to handle what you feel like you couldn't handle, to deal with what you feel like you couldn't deal with. But in every stretching, you're also learning, I didn't really know I could deal with this. You're learning a new ways about yourself. So as you're going through these goals and you're feeling stretched, just remember, I'm just being stretched. This is just testing. Because when you set goals, you're also testing yourself. You're also challenging yourself. You're also saying, let's become better. So endure the stretching. The stretching isn't going to be always, but we have to be stretched in order to grow. We have to be stretched in order to learn a new form about us. We have to be stretched in order to even handle the completion of the goal. And that's just in life, period. Being stretched is part of the journey of life. So don't be afraid to be stretched so that you can grow and tap into the unknown. The unknown will produce a you that you've never, ever seen before. So don't be afraid to set them goals. Don't be afraid to stretch yourself as you grow. But at the same time, don't set unrealistic expectations at the same time. I know that's a contradictory statement. But if you know you can't run two times a week, maybe set it to 1 day a week. Or one hour a day. That's what I mean by unrealistic expectations. While you're being stretched, as you're growing to accomplish that goal. Because in every goal that we accomplish is growth. Pause, remind yourself you have this, and watch what you speak. Watch what you speak. Watch what you feed yourself as you're growing. Watch what you watch on TV. Watch what you listen to. Watch what even comes out of your mouth. Because what we take in can also affect what comes out. So if I'm listening to negativity, if I'm listening to people that say they can't do this and say they can't do that, guess what? That also has the ability to affect you as well. So watch what you're taking in as you're growing and stepping into the unknown. It's okay to grow. It's okay to sometimes in growth too, there will be sometimes moments where you feel like I'm stuck. I remember in my weight loss journey, there was times when I felt like, okay, I'm not losing weight. But what I had to do was stretch myself, right? And give up something in my diet so that I could continue to grow. Sometimes this is what happens in goal setting. As you feel like, oh, I haven't I haven't accomplished this yet. I was accomplishing things all this time in this goal, but now I've reached a point where I feel stuck. When you feel stuck, reevaluate. When you feel stuck, look at what things can I cut off, or what things can I change to continue to grow in that goal. Sometimes, right, the way we go into the goal, it might not be the way that we need to complete the goal. So don't be afraid to pivot sometimes. Sometimes pivoting is necessary. We have to be flexible when we set goals. So be flexible. Be flexible. Don't be rigid in terms of like, this is how I'm going to start it, this is how I'm going to complete it, because it might not be. Be open as you're completing the goals. Use positive people in your life to help build you as you're going through this process. Use positive people that can help encourage you, can help, let you know you have this, can speak positivity, can speak, as y'all know, this is a faith-based organization. They can speak the word of God even sometimes when you don't feel like that God is not in it. Because God is still a God, even in the darkness. He spoke everything into existence out of nothing. It was dark. So sometimes in those dark places, as you're completing the goals, he's needing to stretch you. I'll go back to that. He's needing to stretch you because he's building you into a you that you've never seen before. So don't be afraid to grow. This is 2025. Let's grow. Let's grow to a point where we've never seen ourselves grow before. And I guarantee that as you grow, you'll look back and you'll be happy that you did. You'll look back and you'll love the growth. You'll love it. But you had to go through all of that in the process to accomplish that goal. Don't be afraid to grow. Breathe while you're goal setting, and it's hard sometimes. Pause and reflect sometimes. Sometimes we need to pause and reflect. Sometimes we need to keep going. Sometimes we need to stop, do something else, and come back to it. And always pray. Always pray. So those are things that I will encourage you on as you're working on this goal, as you're accomplishing this goal, as you're trying to achieve your goals. Those are some nuggets with goal setting. Let's go in and knock some goals out in 2025. When we end 2025, let's say, man, look at what the Lord has done. Look at what the Lord has done. Because it's going to take him to accomplish the goal. We can't do nothing without him. With God, all things are possible. So remember that. We need him to accomplish the goal. Because we can do nothing of our own. So pause, pray, meditate, thank him in the process. Be thankful. Gratitude, that's another thing. Gratitude. Speak, I can accomplish this goal. Speak, I'm thankful for this goal. I'm thankful for the process. I'm thankful for the transition. I am grateful. God, I thank you. Speak those things that be not as though they were. Speak it. Don't be afraid to speak. Even if you don't see it, speak. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope that this blessed somebody to set them goals. Sometimes go back and revise. Somebody that may be listening to this, you had a goal that God gave you and you gave up on it. Go back to it. Go back to that goal this year and say, God, how do I do this year? Sometimes that's another thing. When we start goals, it might not be the time. But some of y'all, go back to those goals that God gave you. Go back to them and say, God, is it time for this goal? It might be the time. To everything there is a season. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes. So it might be the season for it. Sometimes the season was, I just had to write it down. That was write the vision and make it plain. I had to write it down, but it wasn't the season to accomplish the goal. So that's another thing. With every goal you set, ask yourself, is it time for this goal? Because if it's not time, it's not going to be accomplished yet. But that the yet does not mean never. It just means not now. Learning to be content in the not now with some things Everything is not now, but it doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. So be content in that. So I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Stay tuned. The Trauma Within is working on some things, working right now on a conference, working on the book. Stay tuned. Mental health panels will continue. They will continue. I'm working on just some other things as well. For those of you all that are in business and you're starting, it's always going to be a journey. Be open to it. But if God gave you it, he'll walk you through it, and he'll give you step by step what you need to do. Let's continue to grow, and let's continue to heal from the trauma within. Have a good one.